What's going on, guys? Welcome back to WWE Network and Chill, where I, Graham G.S. and Matthews, break down all the original content I watch on the WWE Network and on Peacock. And today we're talking the May 1st, 2021 edition of Talking Smack. Now, this was another very entertaining episode, per usual, of Talking Smack, largely because of Paul Heyman. Now, I have grown to love the chemistry and the dynamic that he has with Kayla Braxton, who just does not take any of his shit. And despite the fact they've been hosting the show now together for at least 6 or 7 months, he still continues to get under her skin, and she's still trying to work her way around his bullshit. Like, she'll ask him questions, he won't directly answer it, he'll continue to poke and prod at Kayla and all this other stuff, and it just makes for a great show. Kayla's great, he's very entertaining, and this was once again a very entertaining episode. So, case in point, like the first thing that she asks him, out of respect, just to create conversation, is, "How are you feeling?" And he immediately responds with my hands, which got a big pop out of me. I don't know if I've heard that before. When you ask someone, "Oh, how are you feeling?" and they go, "Oh, with my hands." I got to start using that, because like, he even goes on to say, don't ask questions that you don't really care to know the answer to. And honestly, that's a great point. That is one that I've always lived my life by. And I got to start using that when I respond to people with, "How are you feeling?" I got to respond to them with my hands. That's a great line. Maybe I'm just living under a rock here and that's a common expression, but Heyman using that here I thought was great. So anyway, the first guests they have on are Natalya and Tamina. And the only thing Natalya gets out before Tamina takes the mic is that she says they deserve a shot at the WWE Women's Tag Team titles. Because remember, they've beaten Shayna and Nia in singles matches in recent weeks. They pinned them in non-title action this week on SmackDown. And then Tamina cuts the scathing promo on less so Shayna and more so Nia, calls her sis, their family. I think she speaks like Samoan to her or something like that, okay? So she just kind of goes off, and she's super intense, and I love the intensity. I just don't give a fuck about Tamina. That's the problem. Because at the end of the day, I don't give a shit about Tamina. I don't give a shit about Nia. I don't give a shit about Natalya. Shayna, I like, but she has been so far devalued that it's hard to give a shit about her either. So, you know, this was a good, intense promo from her. I will give her that. She showed great intensity. Probably the best Nia, or the best Tamina promo I've ever seen, as she addressed Nia Jax. I just can't bring myself to care. I don't give a shit about the feud. I don't give a shit about Tamina and everyone else involved in this feud. So for as well done as this was, it's like QT Marshall cutting a decent promo on Dynamite. I don't give a fuck about his feud with Cody Rhodes, so why should I care? It didn't really sell me in the storyline, so why should I give a shit? The next person they welcome on is the Intercontinental Champion Apollo Crews, who says that everyone's out to get him. Big E gunned for the gold this week on the show. Kevin Owens attacked Apollo, clearly wants a shot at the Intercontinental Championship. Even Sami Zayn was out there, who Commander Aziz laid out after the match. But yeah, he says everyone is out to get him, and he's going to eliminate them. And he says that he can relate to Roman Reigns and having a target on his back and everyone wanting his championship. And he leaves before Kayla can even ask him a question. He just kind of rants for a little while, for like 2 minutes, gets his shit in, and then just walks off before Kayla can even ask him any questions, which was great. And Heyman agrees that this is the effect that Roman Reigns has had on people, and he's not taking credit for Apollo Crews, he says. But this is the mindset that Roman Reigns has that is now kind of trickling down to other members of the roster, including Apollo Crews. So the last guest they have on is Seth Rollins, who, when they come back from commercial, we just kind of see him standing there, but his old music is playing. And I'm thinking to myself, did they change his fucking music again? He just debuted the new theme at WrestleMania. Did they already sell her on that too? But he quickly says, "Oh, why would you play my old music?" And they played his new one at the end. So I don't think they're going to be going back to the old one just yet, which is good. I like the new music personally. But even before Rollins can get going, Heyman is so frustrated because right before Rollins' segment, they aired that COVID commercial, that like COVID vaccine shot commercial, blah, 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 where it's like, oh, it's important to get your shot, all this other shit. And Daniel Bryan's in the commercial. And Heyman was frustrated with that because Bryan should not be in any SmackDown content, whether it be on the show or in a commercial or branding or whatever, going forward, which is just hilarious. So he was really frustrated with that. But Rollins even brought up he doesn't understand why Cesaro was getting involved in Roman Reigns' business. Instead, he's looking right past Cesaro. or he's looking right past Seth Rollins. Cesaro and Rollins have a one-on-one rematch set for next week. He doesn't understand why Cesaro isn't more focused on that as opposed to this whole Roman Reigns drama right now. But he's not worried about getting caught in the swing again, because the biggest difference between now and WrestleMania, when he did get caught in the swing a time or two, was that this time there won't be a weather delay. He blames his loss on the weather delay on night one of WrestleMania 37 in Tampa. Even takes a shot at Edge's whereabouts, asking where Edge is, and he's probably off in the mountain feeding his goats or something like that, which was great. I would love to see an Edge-Rollins program at some point, but if Edge is coming back as a heel, which is, I assume, is what the role that he was in before he took time off again, that wouldn't make a whole lot of sense. But Kayla kind of accuses Rollins for making excuses. Kind of accuses him for making excuses in that, it wasn't really the weather delay, he was just a better man on that show. And Rollins and Heyman just kind of take turns making fun of Kayla and just kind of going off on her, which was great. Kayla takes it like a champ. This was hilarious. And Rollins simply promises that next week will be a different story. So we have this new segment at the end of every Talking Smack now where Kayla just gives Heyman the floor to go off about whatever he wants. They've been doing this now for like 2 or 3 weeks, so I assume it's a new permanent thing on the show, which is awesome. Because Heyman he shines the entire show, but he shines specifically when the spotlight is solely on him, as it was here. He recalls all the greats that he's been associated with over the course of his career from their early beginnings, including Stone Cold Steve Austin, CM Punk without directly mentioning him, just calls him the voice behind the voice of the voiceless. He mentions The Undertaker. And Roman Reigns is now no different, and he plays up Roman Reigns banishing Daniel Bryan from SmackDown. Who else over the last 10 years in their various thwarted attempts to get rid of the Yes Movement in WWE, who was successful but Roman Reigns? The answer is nobody. And he even stopped Edge. Edge had to come back from this, career-ending injury, go through this rigorous surgery to get back into the ring, and all this other stuff, all the shit his neck has been through. And Roman beat him too. He stopped the Rated R Superstar. So Cesaro, I'm glad you don't have a wife. I'm glad you don't have kids, because it's going to be a lot less embarrassing for you when you back down as you should when it comes time to face Roman Reigns, which I thought was a great fucking line. Heyman was great here. This was awesome. Just a very good episode overall. The Tamina promo, I think, is what they clipped on the WWE YouTube channel. I don't give a shit about that. I'll probably use that as the thumbnail, but who gives a fuck about Tamina? Rollins was entertaining. He was great. Apollo was good. And that Heyman promo at the end, really Heyman on this entire episode, but specifically at this end segment, was exceptional. So, good stuff here from Talking Smack for May 1st, 2021. Check it out on the network if you're outside of the U.S., or if you are in the U.S., check it out on Peacock. Very good stuff per usual. Be sure to like this video, drop a comment, share the video, and subscribe to the channel for more daily content. And check out more Talking Smack reviews down below in the description box on this very video. Have a great one, guys. I'm Graham G. Matthews, and I'll catch your ass down the road.